make sure, I don't care what your background is, I don't care, what your first language is, it doesn't matter. You should be able to book an appointment because it's very simple. So I wrote down quite a few things, and like Mark, I'm like sitting there just scribbling the whole time. I don't have any quotes though, so so the first thing I wanted to give you all is the reasons why we get hung up on. Who's ever been hung up on before by a lead? But I got hung up on more when I was new versus now. Why is that? It's because I have experience and I know what I'm doing now. So I want to share that with you all as to understanding, if you get hung up on when you get on the phones tomorrow, you're going to be like, what happened? It's probably one of these three things. First thing is your voice inflection. You don't sound like you know what you're doing. That's the number one reason I would say you can nail the words, but it doesn't matter. Your voice inflection sounds like you didn't know what you just said. Now, the reason why we do voice inflection issues, right, is because one, we don't know our script, so that's the number one reason. And so we sound like we're asking a question, because we are, kind of. You're like, I think these are the words I'm supposed to say when you're reading it. And of course, that doesn't sound good on the other side of the phone. And the other reason why is because you might have been hung up on quite a few times before, and you're anticipating it to happen again. So you're kind of like doing one of those toes in the water kind of thing, instead of being 100% confident and here and present in the moment. So that's the number one reason why you're going to get hung up on. Number two is the death pause. Y'all, you're breathing in the wrong part of what you're saying. You're taking low and slow too personal. You're taking it too literal there. Someone says, you got to be low and slow. You go, hey, Mark. Hey, Mark. This is Jordan. And you click, the phone's over. Like, it's done. You're like, I'm being low and slow, though. And then last but not least, another main reason why you're going to get hung up on is because what you just said was completely unclear. It's too fast. The person on the receiving end of the phone had no idea what you just said. You could have said the words like I said perfectly, but you might have ran through it so fast that someone's like, huh? Click. I don't know what that's about. Something about my mortgage. And we finished that thing up. You know what I mean? We don't need to refinance. They don't know what you're calling for. That's another reason why. So it really should be. You should be so pumped to get on the phones. Last time I got on the phones, you know how much money I made per dial? Per dial? $32 per dial. I made I have no idea. I'm sorry, I'm doing very well this week. I made $2,200 the next day after, from SBLI, because I wrote 3,700 APB in a day after making my dials, right? So then you can correlate how many dials did you do to make the income that you made, and you divide it out, and then you can get really excited about hitting that green button. Because the fact that I make 32 dials, whether or not someone picks up this phone call, that feels real good. So you might want to figure that out. I want to add the 3 C's that I've stuck with. Calm. I know you might be shivering in your boots, but hold it steady. Hold it steady in the words. Don't sound like you're standing on the edge of a cliff. Be calm. Be confident. You are here and you know what you're talking about. Be confident. And then be clear. Don't sound like you're chewing gum. Don't sound like you're gurgling spit. You know what I mean? And don't whisper into the phone. Be confident. Say what you're going to say. And say what your chest. I think is what Kevin Hart says. Then also, what I wanted to do is break down the intro with you guys, because if you don't got your intro down, you're going to get hung up on and you're never going to make money. So, just be honest. So your intro is something called a first impression. Do you all have any idea how many seconds somebody gives you to make first impression on the phone? Somebody take a guess. Grant says 5, you said 20 seconds. The answer is 3. Yes, you got it right. 3 seconds. You have 3 seconds. You better make it count. So ring ring.
Hello.
Hey Mark.
Yeah.
Stop. All right, we're gonna stop here. What did I do? All I did was say is hey Mark, right?
Pause.
Pause. It's just a pause. It's not the death pause. Death pause happens when you're trying to get a whole message across. I got my message across. I didn't say, hey, is Mark there? May I speak to Mark, please? I didn't, is this Mr. Newbauer? I didn't say that. I said, hey, Mark. And I said it with a question, because I'm trying to see, hey, Mark. And it's very friendly. It's not like, hey, Mark. I'm not scared to ask it. I'm asking it just like a friend. If he was standing in front of me and I was trying to get his attention and say, hey, Mark, that's the same thing. So I want to point that out. We're not starting off your conversation with, hey, person's first name. Now, okay, you're probably thinking, what if it says Brian and a lady answers the phone? We know Brian ain't a lady. Then just say, isn't kind, calm, confident, hey, so-and-so's first name. There's why you're messing up. I'm just going to go ahead and call it out. Now we're going to move on to the rest of the intro. We're going to stop because my point is listen to my voice inflection. I'm going to give you two situations, right? And one of them is the way you should do it, and one of them is might be how you're doing it right now. And I'm saying this because I'm just as guilty as everyone else in the room, and I've made my fair share of mistakes, and that's why they asked me to come up here and tell you what to do. Anyways, so, hey Mark, this is Jordan Gillum. I was just giving you a call about that letter you had mailed into our office, looking into mortgage protection insurance. Do you remember that? He's like, nope, off the phone, we're done. Because I don't even sound like I know what I'm talking about. So I say, hey Mark, this is Jordan Gillum. I was just giving you that call back about that letter you had mailed into our office looking into mortgage protection insurance. Do you remember doing that? Go ahead and tell me now.
No.
That's totally okay. It's been a little bit, and that's exactly why I'm calling. I'm the field underwriter that's been assigned to get you that information regarding the death benefit insurance to make sure your home would be paid off for your family if you pass away. I was just needing to verify the answers you provided back then just to make sure it's all correct. Mark, are you still 42 years old?
Yes.
So my point is it doesn't matter. You can be like, no, no problem. Doesn't matter, because I have it in front of me that he requested this insurance. So I know he did it. It doesn't matter if he remembers it or not. We're going to move on. Be busy on the screen is important because we're going to be sprinkling it all over our script. Obviously, you want to be busy when you work. If you're not doing $35 an hour, you're being lazy. Or you're talking to a ton of people. So one is good, one is bad. If you're not talking to a ton of people and you're not doing $35 an hour, well, guess what? You need to work harder. You need to stop being distracted, turn Facebook off, and get to work. And call, and not worry about other social media and emails and whatever that comes up. So $35 an hour, you want to have 15 appointments, 10 appointments with your part-time. So I've already covered all this stuff, reason why we're calling y'all. Another thing I wanted to include in here, immediately when you go to set the appointment, I want to talk about the discovery for a minute. I feel like in the script, you ask for height and weight too soon. So let's not do that, because when you ask for height and weight too soon, it's kind of offensive for a lot of people. So what you should do whenever you get on the phone with establishing why you're calling, you're still creating that first impression that you're somebody worth talking to. Right? So what you need to do is validate the information they provided as much as you possibly can. I don't even care if it's just reading their address to them. I mean, it was mailed to them. They didn't provide their address. If this was mailed to them, they mailed it back. You know what I mean? But still, relay everything that you have on the client back to them and have them say yes, 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 yes. Boom. Now you've got so many yeses from age to co-borrower to mortgage information to now we're going to get the length of the mortgage. Now we're starting to ask some questions with information that we don't have. But also, in your discovery, y'all, I love what Val teaches on. It's the 3 Ds when it comes to conditions, health conditions, diagnosis, duration, and drugs. That's it. That is it, actually. Drugs, duration, and diagnosis. Somebody says, I'm diabetic. Awesome. So we know he's diabetic. How long have you been diabetic for? And what are you taking to maintain that? They say, hey, I have high blood pressure. Awesome. How long have you been hypertensive for, and how many prescriptions or what prescriptions you take to maintain your blood pressure? Same thing. So it helps you gather enough information so you can go to your upline and be like, hey. And if you find yourself getting that wonky feeling from the other person, like you're still unsure about who you are, 2 things you can do to bridge that gap. First thing is ask them again, most importantly, what was your main concern whenever you did this? Remember, it's all about you're helping them. They asked for our help. We don't need them. They need us. So if they're like, you can kind of feel like that little weird step back, go ahead and say, step back. Hey, Jake, I just want to ask, most importantly, what was your main concern for protecting your mortgage? Is that mainly coverage for yourself, coverage for your wife? What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, mostly me.
Mainly you? Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you just want to make sure if something happens to you, that your family has the house paid off, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Boom, I've got permission now to do that. So that's number 1. Number 2, second thing you can do, because you're going to do it anyways, you might as well get it done at some point. Someone's like, you feel a little weird about you, they're taking a little longer to answer your questions. You say, hey, Mrs. Johnson, do you have a pen and paper by chance? I'd love to give you my information so you know who you're talking to. That will always do it. They go, yep, hold on. Oh, they're giving me their info. They're running for the pen and paper. You give them your first, your last name, your cell phone number, and your license number. That's what you can do to bridge the gap of the weirdness. You feel that little weirdness, you feel it a little off, go ahead and give them your info. Give them that info and then get back to your script. Setting the appointment, y'all, and at the very end of this, I believe I'm going to have a little bit of time so I can answer any questions if you guys have any. If not, then I did an awesome job. With setting the appointment, basically whenever you get that final piece of information, which I normally make that the height and weight, I like it, hey, last but not least, what's your height and weight, sir? And then he goes, I'm 5'10", 220 pounds. Excellent. That's everything I need. I'm going to go do my homework now to go figure out what's the best plan for you. Let's go ahead and find a short 10 to 15 minute time in the day or between today and tomorrow that we can get those options to you. Did you hear how I said that? I'm not saying when works good for you. Would you be open to meeting with me today? It's not about that. I'm setting the pace. This is my appointment. They asked me for help. This is what I'm going to have available. So when someone says, well, I really can't do today or tomorrow, can you do Friday? Nope, I can't. So let's just try to find a short 10 to 15 minute window between today and tomorrow that we can squeeze you in for. Oh, okay. Immediately. Oh, okay. Everyone's looking at my calendar. They're like, how are you booking appointments every 30 minutes or every hour? It's because that's what I have available. And if they want to help protect their family, then they're going to meet with me at the time that I have available to help protect their family. Guys, when you're setting those appointments, I want to make sure we're also giving people two options for the times that you have available. I love picking a time that makes sense for me and one that's completely ridiculous for the client. It's like the best. It's so much fun. So, Brian, I know you and your wife, you guys are working. Around what time are you all normally home from work? Is it in the morning, afternoons, or evenings?
Evenings.
Evenings, okay, around after a certain time normally best for you guys?
After 5:30.
Here comes I'm going to sprinkle my little be busy on me, right? Think about that whenever you're anything, think a little sprinkle, right? I'm going to be like, man, Brian, it's like everybody else is getting off work around 5:30 also. All right, let me see what I can do. I love doing that. I love like taking a while to tell them what I have available because it sounds like I'm scrolling and I've got like an open calendar. I have 7:15 available and I have a 9:30 p.m. Which one of those would be better for you and your wife?
7:15.
Perfect. Go ahead and write that down next to my information there. And then I also finishing it up, guys. We're gonna do the tie down. The script is so good. The script is so good. If you think you got a better tie down than the script, you're wrong. Facts, you're wrong. Because the tie down, first off, did anyone hear on the call yesterday that they are analyzing our scripts through neuroscience of how people respond, whether you're on the phone or virtual or in person? So I'm just going to throw that out there. And so the tie down in the script is so good because there's 4 steps to it. Now, back in the caveman days, when we used to drive to people's homes, how we would tie it down is get them to physically try to tell us and paint the picture of what their house looked like. And then we would try to physically paint the picture of what our car looked like, what we looked like, and be like, don't shoot, you know what I mean, when you show up. But that would be how you would be able to make sure they don't forget about you. You want them to remember you. You want them to envision what it's going to be like when that time, when 7:15 tomorrow comes around. So what we do now, because it's so easy to forget a phone call, it's so easy to forget an email to open up at a certain time, is you do 4 things. First off, we've already covered it. You have them write down your info. You can remember Jordan Gillum whenever I tell you how to spell it exactly, and then my license number, and then the cell phone number I've called you on today. They look at it, visual memory. Write it down again. It's still the number I'm going to call you from. Second thing, give them something to do. Have them have their doctor's info, prescription info, driver's license. Tell them, I'm going to need this to help keep this between 10 and 15 minutes for you tomorrow. And they don't want this to take longer than it needs to, so they're going to get their stuff prepared. Confirm that their spouse is going to be there. Triple check, because there's one, I can't tell you how many times it happened, where they're sitting in the recliners. They obviously don't have a couch because they don't want to sit next to each other anymore for some reason. But they're in their dual recliners across the room, and he's like, yeah, 6 works. And I'm like, and so I just want to confirm with you real quick. Mrs. Johnson's going to be there, right? And then he goes, hold on a second, honey. Yeah. Or you got anything going on at 7:15 tomorrow? Oh, we got that soccer game. Oh, we got a soccer game tomorrow. If I had never asked that question, we would be no mutual first and upfront, and that can be one of those genuine things to do. And now the spouse is involved. If someone says that their spouse doesn't want to be involved, they're lying. They just want to put you on the side and run a quick quote and then run it by their spouse, and then they're not providing things. So just always make sure the spouse is going to be there. Good way to get the spouse to be there, and they're like, oh no, she's not involved, blah, blah, she wants me to handle the whole thing. Is your wife going to be the beneficiary of this plan? What do you mean? Well, if you die, would she be the one who gets the money from this? Well, yeah. Okay, we're going to need to have her there so that she knows how to use this and knows how to contact me. Okay, then they book the appointment themselves. And then last but not least is confirm that they got the email from you for the Zoom meeting while you're in the phone call. Now, I also want to say this, if you're running telephone appointments, which I do a lot, when you're running telephone appointments, you can send a confirmation text to them that has their first name, the appointment time, your name, your license number, your cell phone number, and say, reply C to confirm. And send that immediately over to them. Say, hey, did you get my text for the confirmation for our appointment? Yeah, just reply C to that whenever you can. And then when they reply to that, you got a confirmation. You can send it the day of the appointment as well, just to make sure that, even though they've already confirmed it yesterday, hey, just wanted to make sure you have a reminder, we have this together today at this time. And then they'll be reaching out to you like, hey, are we still on for this if you're running behind? So that's everything I have for you guys. I think that's it.